All right, we'll call the state of Wisconsin versus Anthony Griffin Jr. It's 24 CF 907 appearances.
ADA Jackie Frank for the state.
Commissioner, Mr. Griffin in person and in custody.
I guess
He would
Mr.
like
Griffin
to
wants to
proceed pro se. Yes.
He's pro se.
Let the record show that I am Anthony, a living and breathing human man and the executor of the office of Anthony Griffin's estate. And who gave you guys permission to access the estate?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know,
Do we have the correct address in your copy of the complaint?
I'm going to ask again, who gave you guys permission to access the estate?
I don't know what you're talking about in regards to the estate.
Oh, you don't understand what I'm talking about? Are you not sworn to uphold the Constitution?
Yes, and I have no idea what you're talking about in regards to an estate. This is not probate court. So, Mr. Griffin, do we have a good mailing address for you?
You do have a good mailing address for me. These charges should be dropped immediately because the warrant was signed on the 12th and they had a 42-hour window to actually operate on the warrant, and I was picked up on the 16th. And the constitutional law states that you only have 48 hours in order to actually come and get me. And y'all responded in 96 hours. This case should be thrown out immediately.
Okay, well, the good news for you is you haven't been bound over at a preliminary hearing yet. So you don't even have to worry about any of those motions. In fact, you can be bound over on inadmissible evidence at a preliminary hearing. So we're going to see what happens with the preliminary hearing and we'll address bail. I've reviewed the complaint. I will find probable cause. We'll get not guilty pleas entered to the misdemeanors.
No, I will not plead
There's
guilty. He is actually agreeing to be prosecuted. I am not agreeing to being prosecuted.
Well, the law says that if you stand mute, I'm to enter not guilty pleas on the misdemeanors. That's what I've done. There's a PSA. It recommends a signature bond. I don't know if
Let the record show that I do not
copy
agree
of
to
that.
being
Attorney
prosecuted.
Benavides, can you see if you've got that to make sure that he gets that? All right, and we'll hear from Attorney Frank.
The state is recommending $1,000 cash bond, non-monetary conditions to not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia, and to not use or possess any dangerous weapons. As to the argument for cash, the defendant failed to appear for a status conference on September 17th, 2021. He was returned on warrant December 27th, 2021, and he posted $250 cash bond. He failed to appear on January 24th, 2022 for a status conference. Return on warrant was February 28th of 2022. He posted $500 cash bond there. Due to the history of non-appearance, is the state's position $1,000 is the minimum required to ensure he appears for court.
All right, and what's your position on bail?
Are you aware that the quickest way for you to get disbarred is to tamper with the all caps name, Anthony Griffin? My estate, the estate associated with me.
All right, well, speak to the court,
No,
sir. and
I want to make
your,
sure that
bail
you know that,
argument.
because if she doesn't back down, I will write a letter to the Bar Association. So I'm just letting you guys know exactly what's going on. I want all of this on the record.
Okay. Everything's on the record, so
Okay.
make your bail argument.
My bail argument, I have not ran. I've faced court every single time I've had to come. The only time I've missed court is in El Dorado, Illinois, which I had no present way to get there. I would never run from the court. If anything's the situation, I'm coming and going to show up. There's no reason for me to have to pay a bond when I was illegally jailed and searched and criminalized and arrested in front of my child. So that's my position.
All right, and Attorney Frank, do you want to speak to why $1,000 is sufficient? It looks like 104.6 grams of cocaine was allegedly found, and it tested positive for fentanyl.
Well, Commissioner, the PSA did recommend a signature bond, but certainly if you believe higher cash bond is required, I will defer to your judgment.
All right, and sir, anything else you want to say about bail?
I already told you I shouldn't have a bail. I shouldn't even be in court today. And I think you all know this. And everything's on the record. So.
All right, everything is on the record. Well, you're looking at significant exposure here. Allegedly, there's a couple of controlled buys. Then there's a substantial amount of cocaine that's found.
Once again, none of that matters.
Positive. We can't talk at the same time, sir. I gave you an opportunity multiple times to say what you had to say. And it also allegedly tested positive for fentanyl. This is a much higher amount than we typically see in state court. It is not uncommon for these cases to kind of just be a placeholder before the feds take over. I don't know whether that's going to happen, but there's certainly that potential. I think that increases the incentive not to appear here in court. There's also weapons involved. I see this as a
License to
cash
carry.
bail case. He's failed to appear 2 times in the last 3 years or so. I'm going to set $5,000 cash bail. I'm going to order that you not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription. In order that you not use or possess any dangerous weapons, as that term is defined by the state statutes.
I
I
object.
assume you'd like a preliminary hearing within the next
I
10
object to
days?
everything that you're saying. I object to all things that you're saying.
Okay.
Yesterday, you guys pulled me into court and did the same thing, and tried to give me $1,000 bond, and now you're trying to scare me by boosting up the bond to 5,000 when this is all illegal.
Okay,
And-
well, I wasn't here
And
yesterday.
being that the
to
executor of
talk about
office
that,
is the highest office represented in court today, I demand it to be dismissed with prejudice and everything taken from me, far as my money and property, be returned to me immediately.
All right, well, there's no legal basis to dismiss the charges here. Some of the things that you've raised would be potential suppression issues. Those would need to be raised if you get bound over at a preliminary hearing. We'll see whether that happens or not, and we'll get that hearing set within the next 10
I
days.
object once again.
And that's fine.
Once
We're
again,
adjourned.
you guys have 48 hours. I'm not done. Once again, you have 48 hours to act on the warrant that is against my constitutional rights. 48 hours. You guys came 96 hours later. That is against the statement here for the signed warrant by the judge. And it's on the constitutional law. And you guys are still trying to act like you have a right to proceed with bail. This should be dropped immediately and dismissed illegally.
Sir, I
Not touching it.
already
Touching an official officer.
explained that. You'll need to file the motions if they're actually able to bind you over at preliminary hearing. Those are not at issue at this stage of the proceedings. We're adjourned.
If you guys touch me, you'll be touching the official officer. Is this court case dismissed? So why would I leave?
Not dismissed, we're adjourned, and you'll have another hearing.
I do not want another hearing. This should be dismissed immediately. My constitutional rights have been,
Telling you to stop. That's you to leave right now.
if you guys touch me, you'll be touching the officer. We'll be touching the officer of the court. Okay, so I'll be getting all your badge numbers and everything. Okay.
Will be Dominique Ganacho, hearing by Zoom.
We forgot this.
All of them. We are ready to go.